So tonight we're going to talk about ISO 9001. ISO 9001 2015, the version that we're in now, is an international standard uh, put in place by companies wanting to not only standardize their processes, but uh, work more disciplined, strive for that customer satisfaction, work within boundaries of a process, boundaries of a system, and uh, have accountability um, to drive continual improvement within the organization. I mean, these are some of the reasons that companies get ISO 9001 2015 certified. Uh, Now, over the years, you've heard nightmares. Oh, it's, all this paperwork and it's, it's a cash grab or it's this or that or the other thing. At the end of the day, it's business 101. Okay. ISO 9001 is business 101. And people who say that probably, they probably didn't go to get a business degree. I mean, no other way to put it. I mean, it tells you things you need to do. I mean, it talks about things that you should be doing anyway. I'm not going to say they say things you need to do, but it's things that you should be doing. And the standard just sets them what they're called. Sometimes they're called shalls. The organization shall do this or shall do that. You measure and you monitor. Okay, you measure your goals, your objectives, your metrics. You to see how a process is going, to see how a product's going, to see how a service is going, and that way, if you know where you're at, you can improve upon that, and that's the whole thing right there. Because if you're a business, you're going to hire people. Okay, ISO 9001 talks about hiring people, firing people, onboarding, offboarding. That's all part of internal communication, training, and competence. You're definitely going to train your employees. First of all, you have to do your OSHA training, right? That's required. When you onboard a new employee, they're going to go through certain trainings. And you're not just going to, hopefully, you're just not going to let a new person come on board and go out and get involved with a critical process by themselves right away. No, you wouldn't risk that. I hope not. So, what what the standard helps you do is it sets forth, best practices or shalls or expectations that you're going to bring somebody on. You already got your processes identified. You've got your critical to quality processes, your critical to customer, or whatever you want to call them, processes in place. So if you've got a person coming on board and you hired them for that process, you're still just not going to turn them over to that. They're going to go through probably a 90-day indoctrination period, and they should be being assessed for their skill levels going forward. Um, Making sure the training, not just all on them, making sure the training that you're providing is adequate and effective. And the way you can do that is quizzes, verbal questions, reviews, things like that. If you have a trainer on on staff, they may be the person that's doing that. Other than that, lead person, uh, shop supervisor, manager, all the way up. That's one thing about ISO 9001 is it's an all-encompassing standard. It expects everybody to be involved, and when they come audit, they do check that. They will check to see management commitment, making sure that your managers they don't come in and throw their feet up on the desk and delegate all day long and go home and lunch and forget about it. No, they can't do that. So, that's kind of what the standard does. Same thing with purchasing. Every organization is going to buy product, so the standard's not saying you got to buy product. We know we got to buy product. What they're saying is you're going to reduce the risk to something happen to your customers because you purchase product from an organization that's going belly up, going out of business, got poor quality. They don't check their parts. They don't, they don't give a rat's ass about this thing or the other thing. So, they say you're gonna vet your suppliers. And they let you decide how you're gonna do that. They're not all micromanage or anything. They're just when the auditor comes in, they want to say, hey, how do you vet your suppliers? And you could say, hey, it's a historical trend, and when we got certified, this supplier we had for 20 years and they never messed up. That's sufficient. But you need to make a record of that. And you want to a lot of what I do within an organization is going to exceed the expectations of ISO 9001, because I want the organization to succeed. And so I'm gonna have a stringent supplier control program in place. I may be running PPAPs on critical products, even if it's not an automotive standard. Now, we'll get into that later, PPAPs, but that's a wonderful tool that when you're not bound by the TS standard or for the automotive stuff, but it's a tool that you can use your own elements out of that and help suppliers help themselves. The whole APQP program, Advanced Product Quality Planning. Another thing where people kind of misinterpret the whole ISO 9001 standard, right away they say, oh, it's a quality management system, or it's to manage quality, it's to make the product better. No, as far as how you should look at it is quality management system. You have a management system that has quality to it. Nothing about the product and all that. That's in the details. First and foremost, you want to make sure that that system that you're using to manage your organization is one of the utmost quality. That means, it always gets me that, these organizations go out and they pay. Used to, they don't have to anymore. If they are, man, I got to get with them, because I've built apps to run all this stuff, as everybody else in the world has. But they go out and spend, a small company spend $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 on some kind of ERP or MRP system. And then your mid-range size companies, they're spending millions on SAP or Dynamics or whatever, GP. and these salesmen and these engineers from these software companies just con the shit out of these executives at these organizations by saying it meets the requirements of, what standard are you on? ISO, AS, TS? It meets that one. And then I go in there and say, it doesn't, it doesn't meet it at all. It's not addressing the NCRs the right way, or it's not, there's no risk assessment. I mean, it's all over the place. So, it's sad, but in those situations, you got to have two systems running. I mean, you got to have the one that's your ISO 9001 program. You got to have it separate, because the deal rods, that came in and sold you those over the top, MRP, ERP systems, or whatever you want to call them. And you know what, the other thing, not only are they super expensive, I've never seen them work right. I mean, the organizations, they have trust and faith in the data just because how much money they spent. That's it. They didn't validate anything. So, and they're afraid half the time to call, SAP support or whatever, to have an engineer modify a form or whatever, the way it used to be. Because, they get, they make you feel like a child. So nowadays, and it's amazing what, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear about the AI thing, and it's the way it's taken over, but you can do a lot with AI right now. There's absolutely no reason why any organization is not running best practices, running an international standard, and getting, running not just external auditing, but tons of process audits internally and whole internal audits. Because if you use AI properly, I mean, you can free up a lot of your labor, a lot of it. I mean, and I've integrated it already. Um, the some of the software programs I've built that I would love to introduce you to. I mean, I built one of the first fully interactive uh, business management, quality management systems back in 2010 using SharePoint, Excel, and stuff like that. The old-fashioned way. It took forever to build it, and then my assistant up in Peoria, Illinois, she was pretty bright, and she was just out of college, and I kind of told her, I said, I want something that's fully interactive, simple yet effective, and she came up, she found a software program that we were able to integrate into our business management system or quality management system, and I mean, it had pop-ups, and it was just fantastic. It was all mostly visual. We were running videos, uh, images, and stuff to take the place of processes, and right away, I mean, no findings. They had struggled for a while, that company, and now they were actually using the system. And everywhere I went and implemented that, same thing. Well, now it's even better because now you've got AI monitoring everything. There's no reason why anything should slip through the cracks, because if you're using your AI right, it's going to monitor all that stuff. It's going to let you know when the risk assessment isn't getting done, or management of change isn't getting done, or hey, the management review is coming up. Do you AI can say, you want me to send out the invites for the meeting with the tasks, because every process owner or whatever is going to come in and present where they're at as part of the inputs and outputs of that whole uh, exercise there. So don't be afraid of ISO 9001. Do not be afraid. I have never, ever not got a certification. I mean, even back 20, 30 years ago when, I was young and dumb and thought I had the world by the balls. Uh, and the truth was, come audit day, I was sweating my ass off. But we had it covered. And I've just learned over the years to be creative with it, have fun with it. Something that the employees, the folks, the team's gonna embrace and run with, and help make the organization better. Help to drive continual improvement within that organization to help the customer. The whole interested party thing, it's all partnership. Your suppliers, your customers, your regulatory authorities, your registrars, whatever. You all got to work together to be successful. And that's when you're creative in implementing those types of things, it's a win for all those organizations. Because if one business, if we grow, our suppliers are going to grow with us, right? Um, and if we grow, we're going to hopefully put some money back into our organization, and that's better off for our customers and for our regulatory authorities. So um, ISO 9001 can be a great thing, and not just ISO 9001. I mean, APIQ1 for in the oil and gas industry, the TS, or the automotive standards, AS 9100, aerospace, national defense, NADCAP, ISO 13485 for medical devices, and the whole bureaucratic government FDA stuff behind that. The 17025 for labs. All those standards can be a lot of fun, and they should be fun, and they should be interactive, and they should be all encompassing. Everybody in that organization should be involved in that, and in the process building, and you just don't want to create a process and run it down somebody's throat, and you get their input in it. Now, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not skirting accountability at all. I'm one of the most, because when I manage an organization, or when I'm leading an organization, I have processes and systems in place that, if followed, are going to really mitigate the any risk of anything going wrong. So when something does go wrong, I sure in hell I'm going to look into it. And if I find out it's because, you know, an employee skirted the system or didn't do something, I'm going to be pissed. That's never the case. I mean, maybe once in the last 20 years. That's not, it's exactly what's supposed to happen. You want the process to fail before the employee's fault, because, continual improvement, you can go in and fix that process. I had a couple bosses, president and vice president, big organization I worked for, and the vice president told me that he wanted the corrective action report and NCR report to be called good news. He said, and I said, why is that? He said, because when everything's going fine, and he comes in the morning and asks everybody how everything's going. It's going great. It's going great. It's going great. Well, he kind of felt underwhelmed because he couldn't get better. There was nothing to work on to get better. When you come in and there's an issue, it's time to get better, and you're going to get better. So, that's that continual improvement thing. Implementing a system is never done. People say, when's it going to be done? It's never done. You're always going to be working on it, improving it. You want to get up to that lights out manufacturing. But if I can help any of you, man, give me a call, give me an email, reach out to me. I would love to help you. I have a passion for this stuff. I have a passion for for production, for customer service. Making sure the customer gets what they want, and for keeping my employees employed, and mentoring them. I'm not, when I'm a quality manager, director, or VP, whatever the role that I serve. You know what? I like to get out there on the floor. Get dirty, mix it up with the folks that are making the money, and have some fun. Especially now that I'm older, and I really just want to have fun. I'm not looking to go in and try to climb the corporate ladder anymore. I've done it all, man. I've been an international business executive. Right now I just want to help people. I want to mentor people. I want to coach people, and help them better, get better and have productive lives and good family lives and things like that. So, hey, give me a call. And like I said, I've got software programs that blow, $1 million ones out of the water. And I got them. And I can integrate AI into the system for you and show you how to do that, give you assistance and all that. So, talk to you later. Thank you for watching, and see you later.